Okay, I'm going to call the zoning board of appeals meeting to order. So we're in the business portion at this point. I'm going to propose to the board that we postpone the election of officers until May, until George can be here and Skip Kelly can be appointed. Does anyone have any objection to postponing that?
No.
Okay, so we'll push that out.
No objections.
No objections. And Josh Freed is breaking my heart tonight because he's decided to not re-up for another term. And
Wow.
from the bottom of this chair's heart, it's been a tremendous association with you, sir.
Thanks, and we'll miss the camaraderie and the suffering, the group suffering.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Well, maybe I'll just show up once in a while.
you could consider being an alternate. you know,
Harass us.
But and I got the Zoom thing going so you could participate from Costa Rica. I did that specifically. Well, we could go either one, you know. So anyways, Josh, super, thank you so much for your
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure. It's been nice to serve the town, and I'll be still on the conservation commission.
great.
Which is a little less.
That's
heavy.
good.
Yeah,
I get to walk around the woods.
that's nice. That sounds like fun. All right. Okay, so we're not live streaming tonight, are we? To channel 27 and YouTube?
I think so.
Okay, so we think we're live streaming to channel 27 and YouTube tonight. We've never done this before. Amy and I went through training in early April and we're trying it out for the first time. So very interesting. And then Zoom information. So Jonathan, we should look on the town website at a select boards set of minutes, meeting agenda, and we'll copy how John Harrington is doing it at the top where he puts the information for the Zoom meeting.
Okay.
Jonathan, I'm gonna send you the Zoom link. It's gonna be different information for each meeting.
Yeah.
But I'll run them out to you.
Yeah, we have to avoid some potentially embarrassing situations if you have the same notice every single time. And we'll just leave it at that because it's been discussed probably more than it should be. All right, we talked about that, the live meeting. So the Zoom will be added to the top of the notice. So, doing this broadcast is optional from what John Harrington explained to us, but I think the rest of the boards are doing it. And I think it's a good thing for us to make ourselves, more accessible to the public. And I think that's a really good thing to do. The Zoom part of it is good as long as there's 3 members in the room. So we have to have a physical quorum in the meeting room. Otherwise, you can't do that. So there's another thing, and I don't know if you were here when we were talking to John Harrington. We can have an email be sent to the town and it can be forwarded to someone on the board. And I'm thinking it should go to you and you become the disseminator of the information. So you would contact John Harrington and ask him to set you up as the official disseminator of information. So people go on to the town website. There's a place that says contact us. Go down to the pull down menu. It'll say zoning board of appeals. I think that's what it said. And then you fill out a form with all your information on it. And then it sends that. And then you can send it to all of us and we can see what we got to do from there. So it's another way.
Purpose of that, if anyone sends anything in from outside or whatever that they want the board to consider.
Yeah, I mean, they still have to file in writing stuff, but like if they want to
Ask how they get on the board.
ask how they get on the board, yeah, or why'd you guys do that and blah, 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 we can hear that. Or if they have a concern about something that may come our way.
Mostly it's about your car's extended warranty.
Get a lot of those every day.
Actually, the last one I got in the mail years ago was about cars in someone's barn that somebody was concerned about. So,
All right.
so if
So
you
what do you
would,
expect, then?
so just contact John Harrington. He's expecting to probably hear from you.
Okay.
I already paid Jane. Okay, at this point, I'd like to take up the minutes of the last meeting, which are in this file. March
You weren't
22nd.
here, were you, John? Oh, gosh.
No,
No.
you can vote.
I can still.
You can still vote.
accept the
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah, because all you're doing is attesting that minutes were taken. Yeah. All right, so I need a motion to accept the minutes of the March 22nd, 2022 ZBA meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion, changes? Okay,
Okay, so you want to say the drawing of the pool and the house?
I want to add the house to that list. And the reason for that is the one before is a rear
Okay, so you want to add the house,
yeah,
location of the pool and house, okay,
yeah, so hand house would go right there.
okay.
Okay. Anything else on page 1? Page 2?
paragraph, the last. It says buffer requirements for subdivision. Space.
I'm sorry, I can't barely hear you. It's a,
Try again.
yeah, your microphone is,
Yep. Yeah, it's up there.
yeah, that's better.
Okay, so the first full paragraph in the last line, I think it should say open space subdivision rather than just subdivision. Because that's been a debate as we've gone along in this case. So it will say for and open space.
So can you
So wait
count
a
the
minute.
paragraphs down from the top?
Second paragraph down from the top. Last sentence.
Page 2.
This last sentence, yeah, what are we saying now?
Oh, for, right here.
Just have the word, put an N after A and open space.
Yes,
Open
Where are we?
space. Like that.
Let me see,
yes.
let me see,
Like
where you got
that.
it? And open space?
Yeah.
Subdivision, open space, okay, thank you.
That'll be it.
Fourth paragraph, third line from the bottom, where it says the buffer zone in the ordinance does not allow building of driveways. I would also add open space ordinance.
So between the and ordinance, we would say open
Open
space.
space,
Sixth paragraph that starts, he provided a plan showing. I think the plan showed 2 roads.
Yeah.
and that-
two roads.
So, yeah, let's put 2 hammerhead roads. Is how I'd like to do.
Two roads,
To
two
read.
hammerheads.
Yeah, because that's
each
what
had a
the
hammerhead, right?
plan, yeah, and there was a hammerhead
Okay.
on either side giving access to the different properties. Anything else, page 2?
So, okay, this is the very last paragraph. It starts, Mr. Cross said. I don't have exact language. I wanted to see if you guys remembered this the same way. So what it says is, Mr. Cross said, if he moves forward with the 350-foot buffer, will be completely eliminated. My memory is that what he said is that if he moves forward, the planning board requires him to eliminate the buffer. That was my memory.
Did we have a recording of
Beg your pardon?
did we have a recording of the meeting?
I don't have it anymore. I've used it.
Mr. Cross said that if he moves forward,
Nice thing about YouTube and Zoom will have,
yeah, we'll have, yeah,
and you can watch it from
Yeah.
home if you
I'm
want to.
assuming it's audible. Because that's been an issue. So if
Well,
somebody's
we'll-
speaking out there, though,
I'll make sure I talk loud because I tend to mumble.
people just need to be at the mic.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have,
Yeah,
people.
they're
That's gonna be
yeah,
part of the procedure, so.
Yeah.
Mr. Cross said if he moves forward. So what do you want it to say?
If you agree, I think what we were told is that if he moved forward with the plan as presented, the planning board was requiring clearing of that buffer,
Yes, that's exactly what
which is,
he
to
said.
me, that was a factor in my decision, not that
Was
he
that
just
the case?
felt like it. or that
Yeah,
it was
that's
debatable.
what was portrayed, that he was gonna clear cut.
Right, but did the board support that? That's the question. I mean, this paragraph already says there, if he moves forward, the 300-foot buffer would be completely eliminated. So I don't recall if he added that it was,
That's
the
my-
planning board required it.
That's
I
what-
thought it
that
did,
is-
but that's,
Okay, if other people do,
Yeah, well, we can add that in because I think that's probably what he said.
Oh.
I mean, I'm thinking of just the high level
he wanted, yeah,
shock value.
well,
of
that's
this.
why he
Yeah.
wanted to move, didn't want to move forward with his road.
Right. All right. So Mr. Cross said that he moves forward. So Amy, where do you want to add the words? Help us with the grammar here.
About, if he moves forward to the 350-foot buffer, the planning board, no, if he moves forward, the planning board would require eliminating the 350-foot buffer. Which I'm not saying whether the planning board said that or not. I'm saying that was my understanding of what he was saying.
Would require removing. So
Yeah.
let's, this
Yes,
is,
that's the reason he didn't want to put, doesn't.
yeah, well, that's.
Yeah, he came for the driveway.
Right. So it would now read, Mr. Cross said that if he moves forward, the planning board would require removing the 350-foot buffer.
That's it, right there.
Yeah, and we should probably eliminate, will be completely eliminated
Yeah.
because we don't need that part of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So strike that and put the period at the end of removing.
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
That is all my minutes edits for the next year. I'm using them all up on this one.
No, that's all right. We don't, it's
Okay.
important. The minutes are important. It's the legal record of
I
the
just
meeting.
read a lot
so.
of minutes over the last week.
Aren't you lucky?
Realize How important it is to
Yep.
be able to remember what you
Yeah.
said. So on the top line, I think he said, it says like to do, I think we need to add 5. So put in 5 driveways.
Okay.
You want to
Yeah.
come in with 5?
Did he say 5? I thought he said 3.
I thought he said 5, but we said 3.
Thought he said 3
That's possible.
because he said 2 for sure and 1 he wasn't sure of.
Okay.
So that's
3.
why we said up to 3, no more than 3.
Okay, so 3 driveways.
So,
And I would also say, and later in that sentence, I think it's contrary to the spirit of the ordinance. He
Yeah.
wasn't saying the ordinance actually allows it. He was saying he felt it was in keeping.
yeah. Okay, anything else on page 3?
No. That's it.
All right. So any more discussion?
You have a motion in a second.
Yep.
so-
So all in favor of accepting the minutes of the March 22nd, 2022 zoning board of appeals meeting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0.
so can I ask, we're starting the Zoom. And also we're recording this one, so from here, the hereafter, we'll be having that, so.
Yes.
How will we, does
Yes.
that automatically do as transcript of recording?
A written transcript? Not that I know of, but I have to talk to John Harrington tomorrow, so I can ask
All right,
him.
because I was wondering if you're gonna be, that's being recorded, are you gonna continue the way that you're currently transponding this? Or if it, I think some of those types of software do automatically.
I don't
generate.
think that,
Zoom doesn't.
So
Okay.
whatever you
This
feel,
is on
whatever you feel
YouTube,
comfortable with.
the-
yeah, I'd be more comfortable
Yeah.
just doing it for the
Yeah.
time being.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I-
And
I'm-
then
I'm
as
good
long
with
as
her,
we have
just-
access to it if we need to compare
Yeah.
it to the original.
Yep.
Okay.
I will ask John. Will we find that link?
Okay.
At 7:30.
Is there anything else business wise? We did the minutes, discussions. Did you say there's someone who is interested in
Yeah, Spencer Tate, who's on the Zoom call now. You can see his name in that tiny little box
Okay,
there on the
well,
screen.
We would just like to say hi to Spencer, and if he is interested in coming on board, then this would count as his first of 3 meetings that he needs to attend. And hopefully he gets better and we'll see him in person. That'll be really, really good. So Spencer Tate. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Yeah, sorry I couldn't be in attendance. Am I heard there at the George White building? Sorry.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I'm in absentia tonight. I'm a little under the weather, but yeah, hopeful to see you all next May and introduce myself a little more formally. Thank you.
All right, excellent. Thank you. All right, it's
Okay.
7:30. The hour is
7:30.
7:30 having arrived. We'll begin the hearing portion of the meeting tonight. The first thing I need to do is introduce the board to all of you. Thank you all for coming out. To my far left and operating all of this nice technology for us tonight is Amy Lockwood, who's a member of the board. Sitting next to Amy is our now retiring long-term member, Josh Freed, who is a member. Our clerk is here tonight, Mr. Jonathan Lear. We are short a member tonight, right? 1, 2, 3,
2,
4. Yeah,
actually,
we're actually
yeah.
short 2 people tonight. We have 1 alternate who's on vacation, and our vice chair, George Thompson, hurt his back, so he is not unable to attend. And I'm Chairman Anthony DeMauro. So welcome. Yeah. So at this point, I'd like you to read the notices.
The Deerfield Zoning Board of Appeals will hold public hearings at the George B. White Building, 8 Raymond Road, Deerfield, on Tuesday, April 26, 2022, for the following applicants and times. 7:30, case 22-03, map 207, lot 37. Applicant owner John and Donna McGowan, 21 Parade Road, Deerfield, New Hampshire, for property at the same address, map 207, lot 37, are requesting a variance from Article 2, Section 204.1 and 207.2 for yard dimensions and front yard regulations for the purpose of constructing a carport. 7:45 PM, case 22-04, map 411, lot 41-2, applicant owner Michael Berry, 165 Mount Delight Road, Deerfield, New Hampshire, for property at the same address, map 411, lot 41-2, is requesting an equitable waiver for getting a certified plot plan and mortgage. At 8 o'clock, case 22-05, there is no map lot because the Deerfield Board of Selectmen is applying for a motion of rehearing by the Board of Adjustment in the case of Edward and Sandra Cross for property at Range Road, which was ZBA case 22-02.
And just so everybody is clear, that is just going to be a discussion by the board. There's no rehearing tonight. We have to properly notice that and get that, so that everybody who's involved, as you can see, Mr. Cross is not even, oh, there you are. Sorry, I didn't see you sitting up front, so we have to make that properly noticed, and we're just going to discuss which way we're going to go on it. All right, so the procedure, which I'll go over next, is the applicant speaks first. I'm going to ask you to sit at the chair, and there's a little microphone over there so that we can hear you both in the room and on the telly. And you'll explain what it is that you want to do. And then anyone who wishes to speak in favor afterwards can go to the same microphone, announce your name so that Jane knows who you are, and you can speak in favor of it. And if there's anyone who is opposed to the proposal, can also do the same. You get to the table and you speak against it. There's a chance for a rebuttal by the applicant. Anybody else who wants to share again in favor, one more time back to anybody who would be against something, and then a closing statement from the applicant. Then the board will go into what's called a deliberative session. There's no more public comment, and we will argue it out amongst ourselves. And then we'll try, if possible, to render a decision tonight. Okay, so everybody kind of clear on how that works? Try to go around the room no more than twice. Try to keep it short and simple, but get all the facts. All right, so you've read everything, so we need a motion to accept case 22-03.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor of accepting, oh, no, discussion?
Looks like the submittal is complete.
Yep, you think, yeah, we had a map, right? We had all the information that we were looking for,
What I'm
so,
missing is that I don't see anywhere is the acreage of the lot. I'm sure we can get that out.
yeah.
Also didn't see, but please correct me if I'm wrong, I don't see the carport located on.
Oh, there's two maps.
There's,
You got two copies.
there was two big things that, because I didn't find it either.
You didn't get two? After the fact.
So, yeah. All right, so any further discussion? All in favor of accepting case 22-03 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign, motion carries unanimously, and John and Donna? Have a seat.
Yeah, I'm John McGowan. I'd like to put a 20 by 20 carport on the side of my yard, on the opposite side of my driveway, the other side of the yard. It's too close to the street. That's why I need the variance. My house is too close to the street. It was grandfathered in. There was a barn there 5 years ago. I had torn down. Well, almost in the same spot. I should have did it then, but I didn't.
Mr. McGowan, how big is your lot approximately?
0.53 acres.
Yeah, so you need a variance pretty much to build anything anyway.
Yes.
Is there a driveway serving the carport?
There will be a small driveway. I'm gonna need to make another driveway, like, go to the carport.
Have you applied for a driveway permit?
No, I haven't. There was a driveway there when I moved in. I applied for another driveway because the way the house was built, it was coming in from the lower side.
The reason I'm asking that question is there's some issues, could be some issues with sight lines that might make it not allowable to put that driveway back. I don't know the lot in particular. I mean, I know in that area that the road does some up and down, so I'm not sure.
Nothing's really changed since I took the driveway out as far as the road goes and anything else built.
I think it would be something to look into. There's really no other way to get to it. You're not gonna drive over your septic to get to it, so.
No, I'd have to kind of go,
Yeah.
I could get into it that way if I had to. Just,
You'd have to drive over your leach field probably though.
no, I can go all the way around everything and
Yeah.
come around to it, but it wouldn't be a straight line.
Yeah.
Any reason why you don't want to put it where your driveway is?
I never really thought about it.
It's gonna be open front and back. It's a carport.
Yes.
So if you put it on the driveway, then you'd still be able to drive underneath it and get to the sheds and stuff out back where it's paved, I see.
What? Yeah, I don't know if we can really do it there. It's just. If you put it, it would block the view from the house and
Is that area to the side, on the other side of the driveway, is that slope down or up, or is it just level off there?
it goes down a little bit, not
Yeah.
terrible.
I got an aerial view. It's really blurry that I popped off of Google Maps, if that would help anybody.
Which side were you asking if it was
The
sloped?
far side of the driveway, on the other side of the house.
Where the driveway is now?
Yeah.
No, that's not much of a slope at all. I mean, it does slope down.
Yeah, it's
But
pretty,
everything runs
it's
away
look,
from
the
house.
lot looked pretty flat from the Google
Yeah, no,
map
it
that I
is fairly
looked
flat.
at.
Does it make more sense to put this, extend the driveway out over a little bit to the right and put the,
Well, the well is there.
That'd be an issue with it.
No, I don't think so either.
What?
you'd be less non-conforming to the street.
Could I put one there on from the driveway over?
Do you meet the side? I think you'd still meet the side
Yeah.
setback.
Looks like it.
Yeah, I would think
And
so.
you'd be on the already paved area, so you wouldn't have to do another driveway. It wouldn't matter to the well. You're not putting up anything that's already, you already have pavement there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I thought you were talking about in the grass area past the
Well,
pavement.
you could go, I mean, you could potentially push it back a little bit, back over there too, if you're worried about the view, I guess. I'm just curious about why you picked where you picked. Just because that's where the barn was?
Yeah, basically, just, I think it'd be out of the way and
It's a large level area.
in the summertime, we'd probably use it for cookouts and stuff, if people come over and it's closer to the back door and it's mainly used in the winter time, but just put the cars in. So I have to clean them off. I get really tired when I have to clean the cars off.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
really weak when I have to do anything over my head.
That's why I was thinking it would be better if it was on the other side, because your doors are over there and you don't have to walk. Like, how would you get to it? Would you walk through the snow to get to your cars? I'm just thinking if it was me, I'd want to be as close to my doors as possible.
You know, I'd have the snow plow inside of it. I always use the snow blower to get over to it, then I'd plow everything.
So right now you leave your cars on the driveway in the winter, right?
I have one car in the garage. But I have a car, she has a car, then I have the plow truck
Where's the garage?
Where's the garage?
under the house.
Oh.
Oh,
okay.
all right.
It's only one car.
Okay.
Ah, I see. Okay.
All right. Well, that explains.
I mean, if I could put like a big deck over on the other side, on the driveway side.
So could you repeat that?
If I could put like a big deck up against the house. That would shield the cars. That I could drive under. That would work.
Yeah, I would just want to make sure we don't create a bigger hazard for you by having to walk out into the middle of your lawn. And, you know,
I'm
then,
mostly concerned about the extra driveway. You know,
Yeah,
but
I
that's
agree.
well,
gonna
that's,
actually be a
that's,
problem.
that's something that do we have a rule against two driveways? I know we don't have
some
we don't have a cul-de-sac rule like some
No,
towns,
you
right?
Need a driveway permit.
Yeah, need a
than-
permit.
than Having fewer driveways.
Is, yeah, usually, yeah, well, that's why I thought it would be better where there already is one.
And if it was on the paved side, it could be less non-conforming.
Yeah,
And I think possibly be more useful to you. I'm not, I don't want to tell you how to live your life because I haven't seen your house even, but I'm just looking at it going.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be able
work
to drive,
better
if you
other
put it on the
side?
pavement, then you can't drive. Get to the front to the back.
All right.
can you join your hubby at the desk so we can hear you?
Don't you?
Oh, no, you stay right there.
No, I'm fine.
You sure? All right. We don't have the, we can always do the mobile microphone.
In and out of the front and in and out of the back, all right? If you look at the house, you will see that the front door has 6 steps down. There are 18 steps to where we're gonna put the carport.
Steps to go down or up, or just walk.
Or across.
Getting into the house on both sides. If I put it down in the driveway, what will happen is I will have to go down a full flight of stairs and out that way in order to get to it.
If she parks out back.
Right, because your house is elevated. Obviously, you
Yes,
have a
it is,
garage
sir.
underneath it, so you have a,
Put up back
right?
on the back door, it's
Yeah.
steps,
To conform
steps.
to the state rules and stuff, we had to do that.
And we don't be using it when it snows over on that side.
Yeah.
So on the left hand, so where the barn is, gives you a
Where
more
the barn
level.
was,
Like where the barn
yes.
was, gives you a more level entry
Yes, it
to
does.
transfer, and that's important. Okay,
And I
Yeah,
would
I
be
think-
going out my front door, down 6 steps. And
okay.
we absolutely probably put some kind of a walkway in to make it so that it just
Yeah.
snow blowed in.
So the 18 steps are down the other side of the house.
I have 6 steps down the back, 6 steps down the front, and
From the garage he's talking about.
then 13 steps down the south to the cellar.
Oh, to get out to the garage.
To get
Ah.
out to the
On that
garage.
side, you'd go out through the.
That's a
garage.
lot of steps.
Yeah, it's a lot of steps.
I don't even want to walk.
Okay. I'm done.
Hey, listen, I
All right.
built this, so I would
All right.
keep mobile.
Do you have a copy of your application? If not, I'm going to lend you mine and I'm going to ask you to read. I would like you to read in the your application, what we call the 5 criteria. so that we get that officially on record. So I'm gonna bring this out to you. And if anyone wonders why I have green things on my shoes, they're ESD heel straps.
Watch out there, don't
You can
trip
say I'm
over that.
well-rounded tonight.
I'm not good at all of that.
Just read number 1, number 2, and just go through.
Okay, number one, the new carport will be nicer than the rotted barn that was there. We had removed 6 years ago. Number 2 is we have a small lot, carport would only have 25 feet frontage. We need a place to park our cars under the cover in the winter. I get weak when I do any physical activity over my head. Not having any snow up the cars would be a great help.
My husband is a DAD.
Number 4. This property was probably one of the worst properties in town when I bought it 7 years ago. We have done a lot of improvements to the property that must have increased the values. We think the carport would do the same. Number 5, although they will not have 40 feet frontage, it seems like 25 feet would be ample frontage. And it doesn't impede any vehicles passing on the road. B, it would protect our vehicles and prevent snow from accumulating on the vehicles, thus complying with the state law about snow removed from the cars.
Is that all 5?
Yeah,
Okay, is there anyone else who would like to speak in favor of the application? Mr. Pittman, sir?
Ricky Pittman, Center Road. I'm very good friends with the neighbors across the street, and the watch looking down to town with their property. Everything looks great, they're doing a nice job.
Can you go over there? You guys can vacate. We're new at this whole TV thing, so I don't mean to make people repeat themselves. If I'm here another 24 years, I'll be better at it, I promise. Okay, go ahead. No, just making you have to walk over there. I'm so used to people just talking.
Richard Pittman, Old Center Road, town here. I'm very good friends with the neighbors across the street. They introduced me to them. I've watched them work on this property. They've done nothing but a good job to clean it up and make it nice from what they started with. That old barn was a wreck and needed to come down. So if we can grant them this to help them keep their cars on the cover, would be a good thing.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Is there anyone who's opposed? Anything else you want to add? The board all set for questions? All right, at this time, the board will go into deliberative session and we'll talk this through.
The only concern I have is whether they be able to get a driveway permit.
I think we just stipulate that,
That's-
right? Just pop it on the bottom and we'll be good. All right, let me get my numbers here, so it's case. So let's fill out these and then we'll do the motion. We'll have some additional discussion and we'll go from there. Almost there. This month flew by. All right, Jonathan.
Thank you very much.
All right. At everybody's? Okay, so I need a motion to whatever we want to do.
Make a motion to grant a variance for case 2203 with one condition.
And that one condition, do we want to vote on that separately, or do you want to vote at it as part of the
To
overall
wrap it
thing?
right in.
Huh?
I'd like to wrap it right into the
Then
motion.
add that, please, to your motion.
The contingency, the granting of the variance would be contingent on obtaining a driveway permit successfully for the driveway cut.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? Ready to go? All in favor of granting the variance in case 22-03 signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So there's a 30-day window of appeal. Should somebody not like this decision, then they would have to apply to the zoning board for a potential rehearing, in which case there would be a public meeting. We would discuss whether or not we made any errors, and we would set a new date to hear it again. But if you don't hear anything in 30 days, I would, I would start getting your drive permit, and just got to let you know about the 30-day rule. All right. Thank you very much for coming in tonight. Thank you. Okay, next case,
You read it?
2204. I need a motion to accept case 22-04. There a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Any discussion? Do we have what we think we need to do an equitable waiver of dimension? And we don't have a form to fill out, so we're gonna just do this as a decision.
Yeah, there was a,
I don't think we have a form.
there was a form. I think it might have been just the one we used. I think in the state book here, if you look up, I didn't.
Yeah, I looked in the handbook and there's like a little form in the handbook, but I don't have any copies of it tonight. Do we have a copy machine?
No, I couldn't find any.
This is a procedural thing. We need
Yeah,
something.
yeah. What's it, Rick didn't think there were any.
Equitable
forms.
waiver is probably under 673.
Yeah,
Tony,
Yeah,
while we're looking for that form, I had another process question, just because I've never
yeah.
done this before. So Rick Pelletier's letter describes the timing and the circumstances and all the things that have happened.
Yeah.
Which all addresses what I read in the statute of information that we need. Is that typically just having this letter from him enough information, or do we have any like verification?
To be honest with you, I haven't done enough of these to really speak on it. I can't remember the last one
Yeah.
that we did. It's
He
been
did
so
some
long.
research and felt that this would be sufficient.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's all I can tell you.
So
He's
we
not
need-
here, so
we can't get to a copy machine because here's the form right here.
no, can't get to a copy. Oh, there is a form?
There's a form.
Where was it? In
It's
what?
on page 62 in our, well, this is in the handbook for local officials. There's this
Oh,
form.
I don't have that.
I mean, I'm willing to tear this out and we all
Is
signed it or
Don still
something.
upstairs?
I doubt it.
I doubt
I
it
feel
too.
bad for him if he is.
No, he had a meeting last night. I can't imagine he's still up there.
I think I have a copy. No, I left it at home. I don't have a copy of our bylaws, which might have a form in it.
Either.
Does the form just have questions we can?
It has a place for,
A, B, C, and D.
yeah,
You're on page 435, and we can just do that as part
yeah.
of our hearing.
So we could write our decision,
Yeah.
even though it's not on a fit, there's nothing that says you have to have an official form that I know.
The
So
state
we
didn't
could,
provide one, and so there's-
yeah, I mean, there is this one in the handbook, but,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
we don't have one tonight and we
I
don't,
remember what we used prior was that one.
we'll petition for a copying machine in the room someday. We'll get a form because we may have another one of these someday.
There- I think, yeah, we have the form in the book you just said.
Yeah, it's in, yeah, so,
It's probably a file folder full of them somewhere in the office.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
I-
this
I
will be
don't
the
remember.
form tonight.
Yeah.
We'll fill this up. All right, we'll need to we'll need to do some bookkeeping on it. So when it's time to vote, we'll go over that. Let me keep this open. Want to do?
All right, did we accept the case?
No,
Yes.
no, we have a motion. Did
We
we?
have a motion and a second.
We have a
to
motion and a
accept.
second. Yeah, and then we had discussion because I said I don't have a form.
We got
Okay,
everything we need here, right? You feel like? we
Right.
got the shit?
I think as long as it's okay to just rely on Rick's, the content of Rick's letter for our information, then it's
Yeah.
all the information.
I was kind of hoping he was going to be here, but
Oh,
he
yeah.
sent his letter, so.
Well, it's just testimony.
We get some
so-
testimony here too.
All right, so any more discussion? Okay, all in favor of accepting case 22-04 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, Michael Barry.
Michael Barry, here trying to get an equitable waiver for, just to get a plot plan certified.
Didn't think it was gonna be this high, did you?
Neither did
It
we.
wasn't even me, it was actually the mortgage company. They hired the engineering company to certify it. And they're the ones, it was GC engineer, and they're the ones who discovered that was.
They had a problem, yeah.
Okay. So when was there, do we have someone who made a mistake? Isn't that one of the criteria that we have to have?
That's the case.
Yeah, planning board.
Planning board.
The planning board made the mistake. Okay,
Also, I feel like
The
on this
application language.
list of criteria,
yeah,
there's one A and B, which includes somebody has to have made a mistake. But then under Roman numeral number 2, it says if it's been 10 years or more without anybody noticing, then you don't have to meet, you don't have to document all the things above.
okay.
Yes.
Been 11
Sweet.
according to Rick's letter.
Yeah, according to the letter.
Let's go ahead.
That's why important the letter from Rick.
I think these criteria would be met. based on
Yeah,
this
I
letter.
thought so too, when I went through them and,
Okay, do we need to,
does anyone want to,
Yeah.
anyone else want to speak for this, against it? Okay. You're all set? All right. So at this time, the board will go into deliberative session on case 22-04.
All right.
how long do you think we can deliberate on this?
I don't know. I almost want to just pass this orange thing and then sign it, but
That the testimony and the fact of the case is pretty clear. I don't see any way we couldn't.
no, it's been 11 years. It's
Yeah.
changed ownership 4 times and someone finally caught it now. that
Finally.
they-
Yeah.
Someone has clearly said that there was a mistake.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, how do we want to record we just want to make a motion noting that it's been over 10 years and that the preponderance of the facts in the case warrant that. Is that sufficient?
In lieu of the findings required by the board, so let's read the law. In lieu of the findings required by the board under paragraphs A and B, as Amy has pointed out, the owner may demonstrate to the satisfaction board that the violation has existed for more than 10 years and that no enforcement action, including a written notice of violation, has commenced against the violation during that time by the municipality or any person directly affected. So he meets criteria 2. We have
And I think that the
Rick's letter.
the testimony also
Yeah.
meets the other
Yeah.
criteria.
Yeah.
That there was a mistake made and somebody stepped up and said that there was a mistake.
Yeah.
So how do we, I'm just saying, in the terms of how we want to phrase the motion,
I would say that the motion would say that we move to grant the equitable waiver of dimension based on the criteria in section 2 of the RSA being met in the testimony of Rick's letter and the applicant.
I move
That's good.
exactly what Tony said.
I've been
Okay.
thinking about that one like all weekend. No.
Let's have a quick-
So-
I'll second it.
Okay. Is there any discussion? All
I'd
right,
like the
so
word preponderance to be in that decision somewhere, because that's a word I don't ever get to use.
I like big words,
Not in
so
the family anyway.
wherever it fits, put it in. So we don't normally, well, we normally would, if we had a form, we would sign it and explain how. So I think what we should do is take this extract of the RSA and let's make some things. Let's put the name of the applicant and address at the top.
Case number
Yeah, and case number. So it'll be case.
2-04.
And the address somewhere, please tell me it's on here. 165. And then you probably want to check off number 2.
I'm checking the ones off, I think. Apply,
Yeah. And this will be attached right?
Yeah, he'll, John has a copy too,
Okay.
so you can put it in with the
Yeah. Okay.
case.
Anyone feel a need that this be read into the record verbally? Okay, it'll be part of the min.
Paper records.
Are we simply
Yeah.
going to, okay.
Before I forget, Jonathan, before I forget, that's kind of like
Oh,
what it looks
okay,
like.
thank you.
That's the one for tonight. That's the Zoom meeting thing. Before I forget, I'm cleaning up here, so I want to make sure I give it to you before we run away. All right. Let's see. Mine's right here. Okay. All right, so we need a motion, a second.
I would like to make a motion to grant an equitable waiver. It's 22.
Oh, we already did that. We did it. You did that.
Yeah,
I'm
you
sorry.
did
I'm
that,
so
yeah.
used to doing it and I just have to accept it. All right, so any further discussion? All right, so all in favor of granting the equitable waiver dimensioned in case 22-04 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Same sign. We're good. It took so long to fill out. I kind of lost track of where we were.
Yeah, so we did it twice.
All right, super.
All right.
Okay, so he's all set.
All right, we all set?
Do so.
All righty. So at this point, this is just a public meeting. There's no public comment. There's no discussion. We do have 4 members of the board here. Mr. Pittman, as a member of the select board, since you filed first, I'm going to ask you if you're okay with having 4 people discuss and vote this tonight. You could end up with a split decision, which means the motion fails just because we don't have 5 people here. We could postpone this discussion till next month. If you wish to proceed as is, we can go right ahead. It's a courtesy. I don't have to actually ask that question, but it's tradition and it's the way I was taught to do it by the people who brought me on here 24 or 5 years ago, whenever it was.
Does that put everything on hold for another 30 days?
It would.
If you choose not to proceed, then yeah.
But you can't, excuse me, can you make a decision even though the abutters weren't noticed?
Yes, we can.
You
We can
can
make a decision as to whether to accept the case.
accept it, but you still have to hear it, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
And
what I'm
yeah,
questioning.
because what we would
It
have.
doesn't go away.
Right. So it's just whether you want to proceed with 4. I just, as a courtesy, I,
So I didn't come plan.
Okay. Okay. Good enough for me. No one blame him. All right. All right, so let's see. All right, we took care of, we got a yes on that. All right, so this is how we'll proceed. We're working in accordance to RSA 677:2. The Board of Selectmen have legal standing to make this appeal. There are other appeals that were also filed. I don't know if Mr. Rhodes has legal standing on this or not. He's not an abutter or an affected person, but we did have it and I did read it. And we also had one from, who was the other person? Someone help me. Linda. And Linda, I think we've already talked to Linda a little bit tonight. So I've thoroughly read them all. And thank everybody for doing that. Okay, so this is how it works. If we have to decide whether we're going to rehear case 2202 over again. If a motion is, let's see, how does this work? All right, I got this all written out. Give me a second, folks. If no motion is made to accept the rehearing request, then the rehearing is simply not granted. We just didn't believe we erred and it stays the way it is. If a motion is made, but then not seconded, again, the rehearing is not granted. If a motion is made and seconded, then we can discuss the merits of the motion. And I have prepared comments if we get to that point. And then I'll request a roll call vote after we're done discussion. So everybody goes on record, not just raising our hands or anything. I would like to do the roll call vote. If the vote is affirmative to grant the rehearing, we will set a date for such a hearing. I think we might want to have representatives of the planning board and the board of selectmen present. This seems to be something that we need a lot of wise heads on. So I think that's prudent to do that. And I can compel witnesses, which I very rarely ever do, but in this case I will, if we get that far. And I believe the cost of notification has to be paid by the applicant, which I'm sure the board of selectmen will help with that when the time comes.
That the select board wouldn't send a representative or the planning board wouldn't send a representative?
We've had this before us, and sometimes we get people, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we don't get anybody in the room. This is, it's kind of nice to see a bunch of people out for a change, right? We've sat in this room many a time with just the applicant. And we've even had the applicants not show up. So been there and seen a lot of things in many years. So at that point, is there a motion?
I'll move to rehear.
I'm sorry, what
I'll
was
move
it?
to rehear. Please.
I'll second.
Okay, so we're into this part of it. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. So let's discuss what we want to do. Amy, do you want to start? I think we'll just go around.
Again, a new thing that I have not done before. Do we need to talk about why? Do we need to name? I mean, I have like a list of things that I felt were really
Yeah,
good reasons
yeah.
for these letters, and some that were facts that I
Yeah,
didn't find
yeah.
very swayable.
There was things that I agreed with myself in the things I didn't agree with,
Do we need to actually?
but we
name
don't,
the-
we don't need to do that. We can just do a straight up vote. I don't personally see any reason.
I think there were enough things that I
Yeah.
read in the minutes alone before the applications for the hearing came in, I
Yeah.
was concerned.
Yeah.
that maybe the board had made an error.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, I was gonna say the reason I made the motion is because I saw enough things in the letters that I thought were good points that discussing the matter.
Why don't we, as a minimum, just note what evidence, I mean, who sent evidence and
Yeah.
who received it from, so we note that
There were 3 requests for rehearings from,
we got the letter from the selectmen.
Yeah,
We got a letter from Marie Person.
Yep.
We got a letter from
Pearl.
Linda McNair.
Linda McNair Perry, and we got a letter from Errol Rhodes.
Yes.
Request for rehearing. So we got 3 requests for rehearings. plus
Yeah.
a letter.
3, correct?
Yeah, I thought there was
Or
only
all
3.
requests for rehearings.
The Marie letter was.
That
about-
was,
That was about
a butter
about a
notice.
butters.
Which actually was answered by you, right?
Yeah, it was answered and we spoke about it earlier, but that's a separate
And
issue.
are we clear on that, or do we need to
I
do
believe
something?
we're going to go to the assessing department and talk,
Okay,
because it doesn't show hers and a butter according to the map.
okay,
So that's what we go by is the butters that come up on. the-
Yeah. okay.
So I think that's a separate issue.
It's an assessing mapping issue.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because that's all you can go by is what
Yeah.
that says, right?
Somebody's not informed that right there is fast.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish you were going to be here next
So as
month.
far as I know, those are the only things that we have.
Yeah, there were 3,
Yeah, I only had counted 3.
yeah. Earl Rhodes, the Board of Selectmen and Linda, yeah.
Yes.
Here's-
Maybe I need to amend my motion. I don't know.
You
Or
can.
maybe I need to say this. You have already said that you plan to ask the planning board and the selectmen to be here.
Yeah,
For me, that's if I can make it a condition, that's a condition of my
Yeah.
motion, is that I just really feel like this is all gonna go better in conversation with the planning.
yeah,
board.
I don't think we need a joint meeting. They could request that, and then we might do it a little different. But
not
it's
do it
been a
joint?
long time for a joint meeting.
But not a mere, typically not a meeting with the rehearing happening.
Right, yeah, yeah. Typically, when we've done that, it's because they've actually requested the rehearing. And they actually start the meeting, and then we take over for a little while, and then we turn the gavel back over to them. Because we've rendered a decision, and that allows them to act. We probably doesn't fit this case. I think it's more that we need the testimony of all the parties concerned, because this
Directly,
is.
not described by other people.
Right, exactly, because if there's a statement made by somebody and it's contested, if there's the right people here to contest it.
I would think that we would like to avoid having to use subpoena.
Right, and that's why I'm gonna, right, my direction will be Jane to write 2 letters and invite them, and please ask them to come.
So will will we have a separate meeting?
I would more than invite them. I would-
Well,
I would-
it's
I
a
would
requirement of the
request
chair, it's a,
that they be
right,
here before at
Yeah.
such and such a date.
yeah, the rule is that I can compel witnesses to appear, so I don't think we need Rick Pelletier, right? We just need the planning board and the board of selectmen.
So is this going to be a separate meeting from an actual? hearing?
I'd like to get it on the docket, first hearing next month. If we it sounds like we're gonna do this.
Yes. What I'm asking you is, you are talking about having a special meeting, totally separate from having the applicant, the crosses in here for a rehearing.
You can't do that.
No,
What's that?
You can't do that.
It has to be a public meeting.
Yeah.
But
it's gonna be,
it could be a-
It'll be a regular
it's gonna be, what's gonna happen tonight, case 2202, its decision is erased. It's set aside, we're setting aside that decision.
Well, we haven't voted yet.
Well, if we vote that way, yeah, thank you. And then they'll be first on the docket next month, whenever that
May.
is. How does the rest of the docket look?
I believe, I don't know, I've seen some people come in and talk with Rick. I
Okay.
haven't seen any applications
Okay,
yet,
so
but I would anticipate.
They're
a couple.
first in line, so they
then
get,
it'll be a typical case, and we'll have
It'll be first.
ask the selectmen and actually the people that submitted these letters
yeah,
will also attend.
yeah, because
Yeah.
they were butters, they're parties,
So
they're
there'll be
people,
parties that
they're
speak.
affected
Again,
parties under
butters
the
will be
law.
noticed anyway. It'll come through as a public notice, correct?
Yes, it has to be
Yeah,
noticed.
it'll be
It's as
like
if the
this.
case never happened. It's like you're starting all over again. That's why I haven't, don't throw your original information from the case away.
I think,
Hold on to it.
I think based on one of the points made in I think Errol's application for rehearing, he does have standing.
Okay, I don't,
That ground is that this is creating spot zoning. And basically by granting the variance, we changed the zoning laws in the town, and that would affect everyone. in the
Okay,
town.
yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, but
That'd be my.
yeah,
My understanding is that if there's anybody that had evidence to present, would have.
In a
standing.
normal hearing.
Right.
Yes.
yeah, in a normal hearing, but in a case of a rehearing, they have to demonstrate, they would have to demonstrate it.
Oh, to be granted a rehearing.
To gra-
request a
Yeah, like if he was the only one.
Yep.
Who had,
We'd have to have a long discussion.
you'd have to have a long discussion about that. The Board of Selectmen, they clearly have hearings because technically they're everywhere. They're the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah, well, they have special.
Yeah. And then Linda was obviously, she's in a butter, she lives on the road. She's right next to the property. So that's how we would do it. It would just be a new hearing, a new day. New evidence, he would have to represent his case. And
You sat on one of those things before, haven't you, Joe?
No.
I don't remember, seriously, I do not remember.
You didn't accept it.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time we did one. All I can think of is Haynes Road in the cemetery.
Oh,
And I was a very young ZBA member back then.
The barn at the corner of your road.
That was when the court pushed it back to us, right? Or
So-
am
So.
I- was it a rehearing?
So what is the process then?
Oh, that was a rehearing, but not,
So now we just. take
Requested,
this
that was
as
requested
this
by a
is an
judge.
application that came in, right? For noticing and all of that.
absolutely.
But
Yeah.
except with the exception that you're going to reach out to specific people. and say,
Yeah, we're
"Please."
going to compel, it's on the record right now that the planning board and the Board of Selectmen
I think it should-
are compelled to be witnesses.
And as far as the variance that was granted,
It's set aside.
it is
Set
set aside.
aside.
Yeah.
You're
Vote
gonna
on that.
rehear.
Yeah.
What?
Think of it as the Supreme Court, right? They get a decision from the Circuit Court of Appeals and they say, nope, you guys made a mistake, and they hand it back to the lower court. So we're basically handing it back to ourselves and say, we made an error. And the design of the rehearing is so that we can correct that error, whatever that may be.
Okay.
Or errors,
It's like it
if
never
there's
ever
more than
happened.
one.
Right.
It's like it never happened.
And then starts at ground, all the testimony again.
Right.
all of it. For the fourth.
That's my biggest reason for rehearing it. But I
Okay.
won't go there now.
We need, I believe it's 3 votes, right? 1, 2.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we need 3.
I'm guessing we
Um,
got two. 'cause we have a
well-
Motion and a second.
Yeah,
We did three.
I've made motions in second and then voted against it, so. I want to look at the calendar. So when are we? 1, 2, 3, 4 would
yeah, I
be,
don't know what the fourth Tuesday is,
the fourth Tuesday is May 24th
24th,
Yeah.
okay,
at 7:30 PM. They would be the first case on the docket.
okay.
And it would, Josh, what do you think? Do we retain the current case number or do we give it a new one?
Same case.
Same case number
Yeah, You're
2202.
gonna call
'Cause
it a
you're gonna-
rehearing,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, so
yeah.
we'll keep the same case number.
Notice everybody, maybe we need to make sure we got enough chairs in here.
I hope you have enough people. Well, Skip should be back and George can't sit.
So we're only going to have 4 and we'll be able to offer,
You have an alternate by then? No? You don't have any?
Uh,
No.
no,
Doubtful.
because unless we waiver,
I don't know. Let's find out if they sounded really fun tonight or just. not.
well, you'll find out. Yeah, I want to meet him. I'd like to meet him first. I would like to reappoint you as an alternate because we're going to be in deep doo-doo here if any one of us gets sick. I mean, last year I ended up hospitalized for,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And,
that's right.
after 24 years of being here, like every night, suddenly I wasn't around, right?
Yeah.
Um,
We weren't sure where you were. I've called your wife.
yeah, yeah, well, oxygen deprivation isn't any fun, so. All right,
I'm willing.
all right, so we'll take care of that after this. We'll reopen the business portion and I won't cry. Can you tell I love him? He's a great guy, isn't he? All right. All right. So any more discussion? Okay,
So
all
you
in
wanna
favor?
vote,
Yeah, we're gonna roll call vote. All right, so Amy Lockwood, do you vote in favor or against? In favor. Josh Freed,
In favor.
Jonathan Lear,
In favor?
Anthony Demaro, in favor. Motion carries unanimously. So the hearing or the rehearing will be May 24th at 7:30 PM. They'll be the first thing on the docket. And you guys will be here. I hope.
Make sure of that.
Okay,
So that's pretty much the end of it. No questions. Sorry. We'll see you May 24th. No, we have one little piece of
More
business. We have a little bit, one
little
small
bit.
piece of business. Thank you, everybody. You're welcome. Okay, so, what do we, what do we gotta do? We have to nominate Josh Freed to be an alternate for a term of 3 years.
well, that's the minimum.
Somebody got a chuckle out of that.
So I just want to flag that when there's this.
Yeah.
much, there's always for people who can only.
Yeah.
hear the mic.
Yeah, we'll wait.
Give ourselves a few minutes. Okay.
Okay, I gotta put this in the right envelope before I lose everything twice.
You coming tomorrow night too?
Okay.
No.
No,
No.
we're
Well,
still
not
in the,
quite.
well, yeah, your part of it's over.
Still public.
I
though.
just had a question.
I don't know if I have any answers.
So Josh,
The answer is
I'm running light on answers.
Josh, for a year, what are we doing?
All right, so
1 year alternate?
you would do it for a
I
year?
would like to
Yeah.
serve.
for a
Okay,
year.
so,
Okay.
yeah, for just a 1-year term, as an alternate.
So who, is somebody gonna nominate him or are you just voting? What are you,
I move to approve Josh Reed as an alternate,
for 1
For
year?
1
starting
year.
at the May meeting and running for 1 year.
1 year,
Yeah.
okay.
And I will second that motion.
And John-
Okay. So all in favor of nominating Josh for a 1-year term as an alternate signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Everyone agreed? Done.
Carried.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm gonna close down this.
Now we're going to adjourn?
And now the meeting is adjourned.
well,
Amy, you-
Ed had
Great.
something he wanted to,
there's no public comment.
no,
One comment, I just need to know the process procedure. Do I have to put in a re-application?
No,
no.
no.
Do I have the option?
Um,
If, for re- become